Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Could you see my screen which I had shared?
Yes.
Pramod sir?
Sir, yes, sir, we can see.
It's about communication skills, right?
Yes, sir.
Sure. So kindly follow your protocol. So should I'll start later.
Okay. Center for Distance and Online Education, in association with Central Training and Placement Cell, Shivaji University, Kolhapur, jointly organizing the Career Development Program for our distance learners of MBA through online mode. Today's session is dedicated for the topic communication skill and its importance, and a resource person for the same is Dr. V.S. Khandagale, Assistant Professor, Department of Education, Shivaji University, Kolhapur. So, on behalf of Center for Distance and Online Education and Central Training and Placement Cell, we warm welcome you, Khandagale sir, on this auspicious occasion, and we all are eager to hear your wise words related to the communication skills and its importance. So, I request on behalf of all to start our session.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, yes.
Thank you very much. Just give me some time for this. Okay, guys. So is it okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you for this wonderful introduction. I've been honored, and it's a great to interact you in this evening time. A very good evening to one and all. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. And at the outset itself only, I thank you, Dr. Padwal, the director coordinator of the cell, and the officer, Mr. Pramod Samudre. And thank you for that wonderful introduction. With that brief things, I'll start. I'll try to see that when we say as communication, it has itself to be a two-way process. So I'll do my level best to make involved in that terms of that. So with that brief form, I'll share my screen and then we'll move ahead. Okay. So could you able to see my screen communication scale?
Yes,
Hello?
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. So because I could not see the screen at the same time, so that's the reason I had to make it in confirmation with you all. So you all are the managers, would be managers, might be working as a managers in various form, and you found that communication is a very basic process. Communication is an essential content. Either it would be an animal or human being. That way we call man also is a social animal. But communication, effective communication in today's global context, in today's global world, is equally important, which has to be understood. As India is growing up and growing a very faster term, we had the highest numbers of demography. And when we see towards the world is expecting from us various things, various form of things from our youth. So guys, what I understood is that communication starts with your childhood. When you're born, you do communicate. The moment you get a chance or get blessed to come in this world, that time onwards, you will find that you had been communicating toward the world. It might not be directly as you had talking, but through your mother's womb, as she is talking, discussing, she's listening. Since that, there is a very selective listening going on in your mind, and gradually you'll find that's what we call in the other terms as sanskar and other form. But you will find that you were birthed with a form of one important skill as a listening skill starts from your home itself. When you start developing you
Voice
have
can
to
be
be
brief.
very good communicative. Communication does not mean talking in English with heavy words, or does not mean that talking with some very different language with lot of verbosity using different words. That doesn't exactly means communication. Okay, it could be a imitation of words, but communication has to see that how the message has to be conveyed to the receiver, sender and receiver. Okay, Aprad, I'm seeing that voice breaking. Is it? So I don't know. My side also network is where. That's the reason I am in the office only. Is it audible now, Aprad?
Yes, sir. Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let me know, please, because no, what happens many times when I'm talking to the screen, it should not create other problem. Communication skills allows you to understand and be understood by others. This is what it is all about. So, guys, when I see personally as in communication, it's a very form of bonding. A bonding would be in various form. You'll find a mother who could not speak is also interacting with her daughter, with her son. That itself is a communication. That itself form of communication is going. Although it's not exactly communication, but communication understand communication, right? So communication, if in what context and in what form you are going to communicate, that has to be understood, guys. That has to be understood. Then you'll find the communication at a different levels. Being a boss, being a colleague, being the subordinate, how effectively, how politely, how clearly, how concisely you are communicating to each other. Today, in the world of information communication technology, where the world had come so together, you also has to do and form this communication skill. So communication skills allows you to understand and be understood by others. This can include, but not limited to, effectively communicating ideas to others, active listening in conversations, giving and receiving critical feedback, and public speaking. I deliberately chosen some part of this communication in this way because as you are from the MBA background, you might have you might have this form of things in your life. Yes, is it fine, Samudra sir?
Voice is breaking, sir.
Look, I
It's
am using internet, which is from the sources, or
right now.
should I
Right now,
remove
it's
this?
clear. Right now, it's clear, sir.
Okay, okay. So should I think I should move ahead with. I'll try to. No, sir, voice is breaking. Or shall I remove this? That would work. I'll try. Just give me a second. I remove my headphones.
Yeah, that will
Probably.
do.
Sure, sir.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
so.
yeah, yeah. Thank you. Okay. Am I audible now, guys?
Yes, sir. Bit louder. We required bit louder.
Yeah, yeah. I'll see to it my best form. Bit louder you want. Okay, I had done it my best at my highest levels. Now somebody is saying that use headphones. Am I audible now?
Yes,
Hello?
sir. Yes, sir.
Now I think it's up to now. Okay, thank you, Tejas. Okay, so now I'll see that communication skills. When we're talking about, I stated now that the communication, how the process, how the form, and why it had started, and from which place it had started. And since your birth, you'll find that communication is going from various forms. So communication skills allows you to understand and be understood by others. That is what important about communication skill. This can include, but are not limited to, effectively communicating ideas to others, actively listening in conversations, giving and receiving critical feedback, and public speaking. So this skill is equally important when you are working in the system, when you are working at your workplace, that too in the corporate world, or in terms of where you are working in different forms, as in different role, as in from manager to subordinates. So that it has to be understood. Now, what is all about? Like, now, if you see, this is the general process of communication that you had been seen in various way. Like, you see that there is a sender, there is a message, there is a channel of it to what it is going through, and there is a receiver. The most important part of it is that you find your feedback and communication
हॅलो सर,
environment.
आवाज मोठा हवा आहे.
Ma'am, this is the maximum voice I can make. That's the reason I don't know WebEx Samala, because I removed my headphones as well. I thought that would make you convinced, but you said uh,
मगाशी
uh,
येत होतं सर मोठा आवाज.
so when
Actually,
I
when you were using the headphone, voice was audible properly. But
Array,
now it is
that
not
was,
audible properly.
so this itself is a communication guys now. This would be a best example, because few of them are ready to remove that gate. I have submitted that for the headphones as well. Thank you. Just give me 1 minute, please. This. Okay. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now just tell me, guys. We actually are experimenting communication now, because I could read your response. Then I removed my headphones. Okay. So now Diksha says yes. Girish says yes. Thank you, guys. So again, I'll start with the sharing of the screens. Give me 1 minute, please. See my screen now. Hello.
Not yet, sir.
Oh, yeah, technical barriers. Yeah. Now,
Now it is through. Yeah.
thank you. I think there is a network issue as well, because when I'm, that the frequency bandwidth, no, that also is changing. Okay. I hope we should go ahead with that now.
I think so. We can close the camera, then it will be, we can get a good network then.
Sure, sure, sure. Just a minute. I deliberately kept the camera because, sometimes, just a second, give me. Okay. Now,
Yes, sir. It's good.
okay, I had to close my camera. That's what I can do. All that I had done with high voice. Okay, thank you, Girish. Now we'll go with that. What do you understand by the communication? This was the thing which I was sharing to you, where we talked about sender. Then sender had a message. You can see here, it's a good representation. Then channel, and through what channel you're going to send it. Verbal, non-verbal form of that. And then the receiver. At the end, you will say that. And you can see here the process of encoding and decoding. Now, when you say of this, that is a communication environment you can see here. Along with that, what is channel? Channel, आपण जेव्हा बघितलं इथे, This is part of it. And semantic form of language, because that also equally important. If you see that every part of this world have its own dialects, own form of knowledge form, and then that also affects your communication. Sometimes itself creates a communication barrier, right? So I'll not go in that at this present day what is it all about, but we will say just check it. What is your all form? It's called as communication skills. So communication skills are the abilities you use when giving and receiving different kinds of information. Some example include communicating new ideas, feeling, or even an update on your project. Communication skills involves listening, speaking, observing, and empathizing. So you'll see that this is all about communication. Listening carefully, it's a very important skill for communication. You know, people like you when you listen them. Speaking, again, what sort of speaking? Public speaking, individual form that. Observing, nirikshan, what we call it, and then empathizing. Anudhavan, no, you had not sympathy, but empathizing the way. And then you feel that you get connected to the people. It is also helpful to understand the differences in how to communicate through face-to-face interactions, phone conversations, and digital communication like email and social media. So guys, now we are in this world, if we see the human race, it has seen that it started with non-verbal communication. So they had developed symbols, and through symbol they started communicating. Later, human as the most curious animal or most curious animal in this creature in this world had designed his or her own language. And you'll find there are various forms of language which are symbolically presented. Now, if you see that, you will find face-to-face interaction was the most common. Then you'll see that due to advancement of technology, phone conversations, digital communication, which we are living in this world, like this itself is a digital communication I'm doing with you all, like email and social media. So this had come since last 10, 20 years. And this has been dominating in that terms in the area of communication. Basically, I just thought, no, I should just share you about what are the types of communication, and then we can move on. What are the effective skills for that? Communication is the act of transmitting information, ideas, and attitudes from one person to other. Thus, the communication takes place among individuals belonging to various categories and backgrounds. They put into operations various types of communication. Like you'll find here, verbal communication, talking people to each other. So this could be a type of communication, and it is very common known what we do that. Written communication, writing letters, draft, this all could be in form of written communication. Then non-verbal communication through gestures, body gestures, by eyes, nose, your mouth, and that. Then mass communication, which we are known of that. Now, mass communication, digital media is widely used for open learning, distance learning. So what you as a student also know that. So mass communication is also one form of source. Then visual communication through pictorial presentation. You can see here group communication or group discussion, that would also be called as group communication, and feedback communication. So various types. Again, you need to understand communication is such a broadened concept, broadened form, could be utilized contextually. Contextually, in what terms? Like in family, you have a different form of communication where the roles has been allocated, right? In your peer group, you do have communication, and that develops your rapport among yourself, that develop a peer relationship among yourself. So that is one part of it, peer communication, group communication. So you'll see that contextually the communication change. Now in today's world, you'll find that social media, social media is also a form of communication, right? You'll see the new kids, new form of gender, or rather than we called as alpha generations, millennial generations, they guys are all on communicating on the terms of social media communication. So you'll find the language, the tone, the gestures, the emojis, that itself had changed their form of communication, and that the biggest difference or gap you could just No, that is in parallel form, right? The second part would be informal communication. This is broadly utilized by the managers. If you are working in any organization, any institution, you'll find that rumor and grapevine is also an effective form of communication. Like grapevine is a concept. If you want to convey some message to your subordinates, but sir, what has to be done then? There is a problem with this web. I don't know because I found it's entirely communication. माझ्या साईडनं मी all together I took it. You
Sir,
just suggest me what to be done.
in between for 5 or 10 seconds, the voice is not there.
So what can be done? Because I'm at doing level best, I had connected all this. I'm very close to my screen. I had a net of our own university.
I think we shall continue, sir. It might be a network issue for
Few of responses I'm getting, I do understand, but when the bit of bandwidth change or there is a frequency चा थोडा जरी हे झाला नेटवर्कचा तरी then language goes on come and down. So I could not help it, boss. Either then you suggest me any other idea if you have.
let us
Sir, you can continue
Sir,
because
because
we
I
can
think we are
clearly
kind of
audible
bandwidth
your
issue.
voice.
I think few of
Yes.
them had the good audibility and few don't have. So kindly check their own internet as well. But I don't know, at this 4:30, we do have generally good network in our university. But I'll do my level best, guys. That's what I can do even
Yes,
offer.
yes, yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Pramod, sir. Informal communication, as I talk to you, this is a form of communication which you could see that, and that could seem in a various form. Like in your workplace, you have a formal communication with your boss, your subordinates, and with your peers. So this could be an example. Oh, you can see here downward. So boss is communicating downward side. Upward, you are communicating to your boss. Or horizontal, you and your peers had been doing that. So that is more formal. Then you'll find that informal communication. Many of the managers use informal communication as a very important tool to control the again a very good concept, no, where you can just want to convey a message to why. For example, why is there, and you as a boss want to send a message to why, but you found that why is not in that mental state to understand, and you have your own limitations to talk to him or her. In that case, what you know that X and Y are good friends. So what you will do that you will communicate if you had certain queries, or if you had certain instructions, or if you want to send certain message to X, because you know that X is going to tell Y. And what is your purpose? You want to just do that message has to convey to them or her, whatever that is in your office. That is X and Y. So that is called as grapevine. Like, no, it's wine. Gradually, it goes on to other form. And many of the leaders use certain styles to make that organization work effectively. At the same time, if you see third part, interpersonal communication. Interpersonal, the word itself is self-explanatory. If you find that two set of people are communicating to each other. Interpersonal, that is oral, could be written. These are their form. And then you'll find non-verbal communication, which is through your gesture. Like, snubbing. Many leaders, great leaders, you'll find that they will not look at each other. The way they shake their hands, these all are form of non-verbal communication. Although that is not said, but that had been portrayed or that has been shown in terms of their own behavior. So that is non-verbal communication, guys. Okay, so in basically at your workplace, as you are be a manager, you will be having this formal, informal, interpersonal, and non-verbal communication. Now moving ahead, these are some of the updated top communication skills. which you need to have, you need to develop. You can just check also in the terms of indeed, that is active listening, communication methods, friendliness, confidence, sharing feedback, volume and clarity, empathy, respect and responsiveness. So being a manager, being working as in the system, you need to have certain form of these skills need to be developed in yourself. Active listening means paying close attention to the person who is speaking you. And if you do that, the people who is listening to you are the people who are is going to tell you will be a good friend of yours or will be having a bonding with you. People who are active listeners are well regarded by their co-workers. And because of this and the attention and respect they offers others. So guys, you'll find that if your co-workers listens you carefully, you will have a very good bonding with them. You'll try to listen them. You will not have any problem. You don't have to any issue with them because you know that they know you, they listen you very carefully. And this is very important skill in terms of communication. So when you are dealing with your client, when you're dealing with your customers, whatever, then you have to be very clearly stated. If you see, if you go to in some form and you are not listening, somebody tell us that the first impression will not, you will not like to meet again the same person. You'll try to avoid that. So, as in that, you need to understand active listening is equally important. While it seems simple, this is a skill that can be hard to develop and improve. You can be an active listener by focusing to on the speaker, avoiding distractions like cell phones, laptops, or other projects, and by preparing questions, comments, or ideas to thoughtfully respond. So, active listeners, when you're listening, I know somebody, and then you're just surfing your web, surfing your phones, that is not a good sign. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So you will find that Acha, Kiran Patil had sent me some notes. Let me check. I don't know. Okay, but I'll move on. Active listening. You can be active listener by focusing on the speaker who is talking to you, avoiding distractions like cell phones, laptops, or other projects, and by preparing questions, comments, on ideas to thoughtfully respond. Okay, so you'll find, and in professional form, this is very important. Active listening. You either be a manager, you might be in any field of this, that has to be formed. Swati is speaking something, I don't know why. After this, you find adapting your communication style to your audience. I think this is one of the very important skill you need to learn because when no, you can't have the same communication everywhere. So when you, as I told you, when you're working in your house, when you're working in this office, the various form changes. So different styles of communication. The best use of communication skill, it is important to consider your audience and the most effective format to communicate with them. For example, if you're working in your team presentation, you will be using different slides, a form of presentation, the style of that. But when you go on the field, then again your form of communication has to change. You can't behave like a manager. You can't behave like the way you are behaving in the office at your field, at your work, because that will not develop a bond with your grassroots people or the customers who's at the glass level. So adapting your communication style to your audience is very important in this role. For example, if you're communicating with a potential employer, it is better to send a formal email, okay, or call them on the phone. Depending on the situation, you may need to send a formal type letter over there, other forms of communication. In the workplace, you may find it's easy to communicate complex information in person or via a video call via in long, dense email. So, as a situation, give one example, as the role shift. Style to your audience. Friendliness is again a very important skill. In friendliness, characteristics such as honesty and kindness often foster trust and understanding. The same characteristics are important at workplace relationship, and you might also experiencing the same thing. If you are very good friendliness with your team, it is very easy to interact with them. If you develop such honesty, kindness, if you realize, no, some one of my friends A is quite honest and kind, because whenever I ask or when I discuss, he give or she gives a reply very honestly. Along with that, the kindness I found. So that itself develop a rapport, the bonding, or rather respect as well. And that is very important at a workplace. So when you're working with others, approach your interactions with a positive attitude. Keep an open mind and ask questions to help you understand where they are coming from. So that is how you can literally create that rapport development, approach you for interactions with positive attitude. Right? Small gestures such as asking someone how they are doing, smiling as they speak, or offering praise for work well done can help you foster productive relationship with both colleagues and manager. So many times I also interaction, then I found that this is very important. The moment you meet a new people, a new man, either in terms of, in terms of if you see that if you want to a good communication from that, you can it's a simple, you can when you meet people, the small gestures like smiling, just you meet a new man and you just meet and smile, too much better now. They saw each other and they just stared at each other and they left. Okay, so that was the first incident. They look at each other and just share each other and they just went away. Next day, again, fortunately, as in the morning, they move ahead. So again, they had their own plan and they started wake up in the morning the next day. And today, X was not in a good mood. So X was no bit of nervous because yesterday his boss might have said something to him. So that is happening. What X was waked up, and again in the morning 6 they look at each other. As yesterday they were staring each other. Today X was not in a good mood, so he had made the face looking at his man and just shown that no negligence or just snub him. That what happened. That again, you find that the next day, Y got a misconception about X. Third day, if you see on the fifth day, when they again went in the morning, each other, this time, Y had in his mind that X did not smile at him. Or neither yesterday, he was just staring at each other. So within these 3 days, although staying on the same group, on the same form, you will find that within 3 days, they had created the body language in a very different form. even though they didn't talk to each other, but then the gestural form had created. And then the fourth day, Y reacted very badly on X because he was still remember what X had behaved on the next second day. And what happened? This itself created among both miscommunication or gap of communication, which led them to a different fight, misunderstanding. What do you think? What could have been done, X and Y, when they met at the first day? Will you be able to answer? If somebody want to answer on that, you can reply me in the chat box if you are there with me. Swati ma'am? Swati ma'am? अरे प्रवीण पाटिल सर हेलो
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
हाँ जी प्रवीण पाटिल सर आहेत काय
त्यांचाच नॉईज आलाय सर. स्वाती मॅडम आणि प्रवीण पाटील त्यांचाच नॉईज येतो होते सर.
नाही मग त्यांना विचारलं आन्सर कोणीतरी दस्तगीर प्रवीण पाटील किंवा स्वाती कोणीतरी उत्तर द्यावं म्हणजे बरं वाटेल. ऐकतायत का ते त्यांनी
ऐकत मी मेसेज पण केलाय मी त्याच्यावर ते नॉईज म्यूट करा म्हणून पण ते म्यूट करत नाही.
Okay, did you hear the question what I asked? Yeah, Ajay Singh had been suggesting from long time. I had seen him. He's requesting for the mute and all. Who is the host of the team? Kindly check it. Okay, so guys, I gave you one situation where we are talking about X and Y, isn't it? So X was talking and Y was looking at each other and what had happened and at what level. So guys, you need to understand if X and Y met on the first day, if they had been smiling each other and would have said good morning or namaskar or whatever the religion or whatever the they think comfortable to each other, that itself would have created a good friendliness environment among themselves, which would have avoided them, which could have avoided their fight, misunderstanding over. So one of the most important things is about friendliness, which has to be understood in a communication. The next part is about confidence. In the workplace, people are more likely to respond to ideas that are presented with confidence. So in communication skill, you need to have enough Okay, so confidence is one of the important things which you need to require for effective communication, right? Giving and receiving feedback. Strong communicators can accept critical feedback and provide constructive input to others. This is very, very important. Strong communicators can accept critical feedback and provide. So, you want to be a good communicator, strong communicator, you need to accept critical feedback and provide constructive input to others. Solutions. The project can have. Okay. Volume and clarity. When you are speaking, it is important to be careful. This is again very
म्यूट करायला सांगा ना आवाज साईडला येतो. मॅच बघते ऐकू येतो.
read the room to see how others are communicating. So that is again very important. What volume you had kept for that? and clarity, how it is that? So that adjusting your speaking voice is equally important according to the group. When you're talking to subordinates, when you're talking in the form of that, which you need to be understood. So volume and clarity is equally important. Empathy is again very good. It's a very important skill to have. Empathy means that you can understand and share the emotions of others. This communication skill is important to both team and one-to-one setting. In both cases, you will need to understand others' people emotion and select. Respect. A key respect of is knowing when to initiate communication and respond. This is very important. As a great communicator, you have to understand that. Knowing when to initiate communication and respond. In a team of group setting, allowing others to speak without interruption is seen as necessary communication skill. Respectfully communicating always also means using your time with someone else wisely, staying on topic, asking clear questions, and responding fully to any questions you have been asked. Okay, so respectfully communicating also means using your time with someone else wisely, staying on topic, asking clear questions, and responding fully to any questions you have been asked. So this is very important in terms of respect as in one of the in communication skills. Understanding non-verbal clues. A great deal of communication happens through non-verbal clues such as body language, facial expressions, and eye contact. When you are listening to someone, you should paying attention to what they are saying as well as their non-verbal language. By the same measure, you should be conscious of your body language when you are communicating to ensure you are sending appropriate clues to others. So, no, this is very important. Non-verbal clues such as body language, facial expressions, and eye contact. A great deal of communication is here is in that terms when you are listening to someone, you should be paying attention to what they are saying as well as their non-verbal language. Responsiveness, whether you are returning a phone call or sending a reply to an email, fast communicators are viewed as more effective than those who are slow and respond. This is very true, and today in the competitive world you have to be very careful about this. The moment you got the phone or message, you had to be replied back. One method is to consider how long your response will take. In this request or question, you can answer in the next 5 minutes. If so, it may be good idea to address it as soon as you see it. If it is more complex request or question, you can still acknowledge that you have received the message and let the other person know you will respond in full later. Because no, that shows the concern, that shows the respect what you are getting in terms of that. So responsiveness is equally important. So how the effective communication would be? Okay, these are some of the important skills which I had discussed with you all. So how it has to be, that is again a very important form of that. आपण कसं बोलताय, how should be the body language, and other part is equally important, which you need to understand. Okay, just as in part of it. Okay. Okay. Am I audible again?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So I'll be sharing you one thing on the chat. Please check your chat and kindly answer them, the one who were there, because effective form of communication, the questions we could just display in that, because you might be bored getting listening on that. No, that would be a one-way communication. So I thought, chalo kuch. So guys, please go on menti.com and use the code. Please visit menti, MENTI.com, COM. Use code 62770751. I had shared you also the link. Yeah, Girish, I'll just give you a code. I'll type on the chat box as well. Yeah, kindly check the code. You can just put the code. Okay.
I'm unable to reach the site, sir. Hello?
Sir, it is not working properly.
Yeah, sir, it is not working.
I have tried from different browsers also. It is not working.
It is not asking for any code, yeah.
Sir, I am unable to open it.
सर हे माय फर्स्ट सर्वे असं काहीतरी दाखवतं.
जी?
माय माय फर्स्ट सर्वे असं काहीतरी दाखवतंय.
Yeah, it is showing something like that.
हां. मग हे प्रेझेंटर नोट्स पॅराग्राफ हेडिंग इमेज असं काहीतरी कंटेंट दाखवते.
I shared you the link also. 62.
It is not working properly. I have tried.
ती लिंक वरूनच मी ओपन केलंय.
Anji?
लॅपटॉपवर लिंक करूनच ओपन केले मी साइन इन करून.
Okay, ma'am. Otherwise, you can just visit. I'll just tell you. Menti, MENTI, menti.com. That would be better if you are not linking that.
The only thing
I
I'm
tried
seeing is
that
this
also,
Mentimeter and submit.
but
Submit and without voting.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Direct submit without voting. That is what
Voting.
we are able to see.
Yeah.
वोटिंग.
Oh. Yes, any respondent for that? Hello. You have to just put a word. Oh, there are 7 responses which I received. I don't know. One form of developing. Can you see the screen, guys? Your responses are also there. Very good. 19 responses. I don't know. What about fatal, dangerous? What is that? So, what is the term as in communication? You understood.
So what word we have to use in communication?
You
Oh,
can use any word for the term communication, what you had understood.
okay.
That was a general thing. No, you can have, like somebody had said communication is a success, communication is an experience. Thrilling also, I don't know what they thrilling could be one of the thing. Of course, dangerous भी हो सकता है. Communication could be a dangerous if it is not rightly put or rightly formed. Okay, communication is the key of success. responses you can just check out. This is good one way to express your point. Communication could be, but the skills also we talked today was various form like friendliness and understanding audience. The gestures. These all are equally important. And while you addressing respect has to be there in the communication. Even treating with your subordinates has to be treated in a very respectful manner. For leadership, communication is important tool. If you see that all great leaders, most of them are great orators also. So no, it helps you to convince your point or persuade your point, which may influence others as well. Very good. It helps you to connect, of course. Communication is a cycle. Okay, I think most of the points has been covered. And then I think there were some 33 responses, which you can just check it. This I just try to make you involved in such activity where you will find that there are various form tools which could be there. And you found the different responses as well. If you had any questions or any form of discussion, I'll be happy to share with you, or you can just suggest me these things. Otherwise, I had given you most of the points which has to be covered in terms of effective communication. We try to understand the concept of communication. Then we also had seen the process, then types of communication which is very important at your workplace, that has been also addressed. Later on, to be an effective communicator, what things you will keep in your mind. So that is also we had tried to understand by just asking different form of questions, different points of point which we had covered. I'll stop this and then I'll just listen to this. Okay, so you could see this. This is one part which you had responded. Okay. Then we had seen various points which for a effective communication it is required, and very well you had been responding me all this. So thank you for all it. Okay. Mhm. It got a bit slow. So you can just see this is the points which we had discussed. Uh, Overall, just highlight and we'll stop here. Communication, this is the form of what we had discussed. We had also seen encoding, decoding. Then we had said communication skills. What are that important? What I said is that this is most important. Involve listening, speaking, observing, and empathizing. Then we had seen types of communication. We had seen and various forms, as I told you, various forms had been understood by various people, form of types of communication. These are the top communication which we could receive from Indeed. Active listening, communication method, friendliness, confidence, sharing feedback, volume and clarity, empathy, respect, and responsiveness. So paying close attention, active listening, adapting your communication styles to your audience, friendliness, confidence, giving and receiving feedback, volume and clarity, empathy, respect, and understanding non-verbal clues, responsiveness. These are from that. Effective communication, I'll not go in very details about that. It has to be clear, concise. No, that technical issue I could not cover while interacting with you. But I thank you and I wish you all the best for the responses you have given to me. And I know that there were some issues for network and all that because that would be one of the biggest limitations with the network, which we could not avoid, and that itself created a barriers for communication. That is that could be considered as one of the important barrier for communication while doing digital communication. So that was not in my concern or my hand, but I hope you had, and I had a very good time with you interacting for this top. Last session, I tried to just give you a Mentimeter to explore yourself with that brief form of communication skills and its importance as well as for the day-to-day work. I thank you for providing me an opportunity and wish you great luck. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, officer, please tell me.
Thank you for the great session. Actually, it's been happy. We are. I really happy to hear all the lecture of your regarding the communication, and I barely think that the students are not able to get that because it's so much clear and so much specified in all the things. You have cleared means undoubtedly 90 to 95% out of every student. It's really nice. And behalf of Central Placement Cell, behalf of distance education, I really say thanks to you, behalf of all students. And we are very keen to be in touch with you at regular intervals. If you have such a time for us, sir.
Sorry.
If you have time for us, then we will very happy to be in touch with you in a continuous intervals.
Sure. I'll be more than happy for you and always there for you and my our dear students for our university. I know that there were certain limitations for technical which had disturbed me as well, but then I thought that has to be taken in a very positive way because that all technicality could not be done by handled by ourselves. but there were few who were, I can see they were constantly responding, and that had motivated me as well to be in continue form. Next time we will take care more care, and we'll check off that all. So with that, I assure that I'll be again back with you if something is required.
Yeah, we are more than happy, sir. We are more than happy
Sure.
if you get some time for us, and we will very much happy to listen you at every time.
Thank you, officer. Thank you,
Thank you, sir.
Motors.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
With permission of you, we can end up the session.
Okay. I'll also leave. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the best, all the guys. Thank you very much.
Students, I hope you have enjoyed the session. The session is governed by Dr. V.S. Khandagale. He is assistant lecturer at Department of Education, Shivaji University, Kolhapur. Tomorrow, we will be having a great personality with us, Dr. Sunita Dalwai. She was she is working with Cyber College, and she will conduct the session on interview techniques at same time 4 o'clock. Okay, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Tomorrow there will be a session by at same time 4 to 5. Yes. I hope the present will be there. Okay. Have a great day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.